Good morning, students. Today we are going to see the chemical equation. So the chemical equation is a shorthand representation of chemical reaction. So that is with the help of chemical symbols and the formulas. So for the every chemical equation, we will be having a two components. So one is a reactant and another one is a product. So what is the reactant means? The reactant substance that it will be take part in the chemical reaction. The reactant is a substance that it will be take part in the chemical reaction, and the product or the substance that it will be formed in a chemical reaction. Product is the substance that is formed in a chemical reaction. So next we can see what are the steps writing in the skeleton equation. So there are some few steps is there. For that, how we have to write it. So we will be seeing that. So what is it? Before writing the balanced equation of a chemical reaction, first we have to write a skeleton equation. Before balancing the equation, for simply we have to write one. We have to form a equation. What are the steps means? First we have to write the symbol and the formula for the each of the reactant on the left hand side. So what is that? Reactant is a, what are the formulas is there that we have to write it in the left hand side. So that is the reactant, and they will be joining by the plus symbols. So what is that? We can see down. First we will be see the one by one steps. So in the left hand side you have to, for example, carbon dioxide means C plus O2. So this is a reactant. So that it will be C plus O2, like that we have to combine C plus. So like this, joining by this plus plus, like that you have to write it. Then after that, after completing the left hand side, follow them by an arrow. After completing that C plus O2, that it will be gives, we are saying the gives, no, that is the A, that it will be denotes in the arrow mark. So which is interpreting for a forms. After that, third step, what is that means? Right hand side RHS, that is a RHS of the arrow symbols, and the formula of each of the product. So C plus O2 gives a CO2. So that is the product. So first we are writing the reactants. What are the reactions is there? We are writing. After that we are getting a one complete product, that is a CO2. So this is the right hand side, that is a product. So in that, if the product is a gas, it should be represented by the upward arrow. If it is a gas means we have to represent in the upward arrow. And if it is a precipitate means like a curd or something, precipitate. It should be represented in a downward. That is a downward arrow. Here they have given Mg plus H2SO4 gives the, what is that? MgSO4 plus H2O. H2O is a water. So that is a upward arrow. Then fifth is a, this is a unbalanced equation. This equation is called as a skeleton equation, and this equation is not balanced. So next we are going to see the how we are going to balance a chemical equation. So this is a skeletal equation. These are the steps it should be followed. This is very important for the 5 marks. Next we are going to see the balancing the chemical equation. So according to the law of conservation of mass, the total number of mass of all the atoms that it will be forming the reactants, so that it should be equal to all of the atoms forming the products. So this law will be hold the good only, but when the number of atoms number of atoms of all the types of elements on the both side, it should be equal. Whatever the we are writing in the reactant on the product, it should be equal. So that is the balanced equation. So the balanced chemical equation is one which the total number of atoms of an element on any reactant side, that is it should be equal to the total number of atoms of the element on the product side. So both the reactant side and the product side, it should be equal. So in that there are many methods of balancing chemical equation: trial and error method, direct inspection, fractional method, and odd number or even number method, or some of them. So while balancing a chemical equation, we have to follow some of the points. First point is, initially the number of times an element that it will be occurs on the both sides of the skeleton equation, that it should be counted first. Then an element that is which is occurs the least number of times, which is occurring very least in a reactant and the product side, that it must be balanced first. So then the elements that is occurring two times, the element occurring three times, what are the elements that is occurring two times and the three times, and it should be um, three times, and so this increasing order must be also balanced first, everything which should be in a proper way. So when two or more elements that is occur in the same number of time, that is a metallic element is balanced first. So first is in the first preference we have to give for the metallic, and then preference to the non-metallic element. If more than one metal or non-metal is present in that metal or non-metal with the higher atomic mass. So in this periodic table first we have to, with that only we can balance. So which is having a higher atomic mass, first to find the atomic mass. To find the atomic mass we should know the periodic table. So with that only we can balance. Then next, the number of molecules of reactants and the product, that it should be written as a coefficient. So the formula should not be changed to make the elements equal. So we should not change the formulas. For the element it should be equal, so that we should not change the formula. It should, as usual, it should be there, but we have to balance it. So the fractional method of balancing must be the employed only for the molecule of an element. For example, O2, H2, O3, P4, that not for a compound H2O, NH, like that. So now we can see the balancing equation for the reaction of hydrogen and the oxygen, which gives the water. So what is the step 1 means? Step 1 we have to write the word equation. So the word equation is hydrogen plus oxygen, that it will be giving a water. So that is in a step 2. We have to write the skeleton equation. First we have to write the skeleton equation, then only we have to form the balancing equation. Skeleton equation means hydrogen H2, oxygen O2. So H2 plus O2, that gives the H2O. Third step, we have to select the element which is to be balanced first based on the number of times of an element that occurs on the both sides of the skeleton equation. So element, what is the element here? H and the oxygen, the number of times particular element that is occurring on the, so the hydrogen is occurring 2 times and the oxygen is occurring 1 time. So H2O, so hydrogen is occurring 2 times and the oxygen is occurring for 1 time. So what is the step 4 means? According to the periodic table, what is the atomic mass? So in the both elements that is occurring 1 time each. So here the preference it should be given to the oxygen, because that is having the higher atomic mass. So that is having the higher atomic mass. So what is the fifth step means? We have to balance the oxygen. What we have to do means put 2 before H2O. So on the right hand side, that is our H's. So H2 plus O2 gives 2H2O. So before the hydrogen we have to write the 2 for balancing purpose. So what is the sixth step means? To balance the hydrogen we have to put the 2 near the hydrogen, that is a H2O on the left, H2 on the left side hand, that is LHS. So 2H2 plus O2 gives 2H2O. So the 2 is common for both also. So for the hydrogen we are having the 4, and we are in the step 6 you see we are having the 2, so hydrogen we are having 4 and the oxygen we are having 2. The same thing in the right hand side also, hydrogen we are having 4 and the oxygen also 2. So before the hydrogen the 2 commonly we are written, no, that is for both hydrogen and the oxygen also. So here 2 2s are 4, and for oxygen 2 oxygen is there. So this is equal. So now both sides of the number of hydrogen atoms is 4 and the oxygen atom is 2. So the chemical equation is balanced. So like this only for all the equations we have to write it. And some of the information that is conveyed by the balanced chemical equation, we are having the 5 steps. What are the steps means? Physical state of a reactant and the products. Heat changes, that is the heat is liberated or heat is absorbed, that it will be accompanied by the chemical reaction. condition that is such as a temperature, pressure, catalyst, etc., that is under the reaction takes place. And the concentration, that is a dilute or concentration of the reactant or the products. And the fifth one is speed of the reaction. This is when we are doing the workouting these chemicals, at the time these steps we will be following. So thank you students.